Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and our 61st coffee stream. And Skep Talk and I are back again to speak to you all. And it was my turn to be late this morning because I lost my hangout. But Skep Talk helped.
We found it.
We found it.
We went on Safari and we found a hangout. Probably not the first time that that has happened, but hooray for us! We actually arrived at our own show semi on time.
Yes.
At least within a couple of minutes. I have some interesting stuff. I have some interesting things to discuss vis-a-vis the news and so forth. Also have a strange and interesting personal tale to tell this morning. So that's kind of some of the stuff that I have. But first, I want to find out how was your weekend at the cabin?
It was fun. It was a little bit chilly, but we got the
chilly in Canada in December.
Oh, I know. Isn't it weird? We got the cottage up to about 60 Fahrenheit, so the temperature inside was nice. We got about 3 inches.
Nice being a relative term. In Texas, that's freezing.
Well, it was easily 0 degrees outside Fahrenheit.
Wow. That's like minus 15 centigrade.
Yeah.
Celsius.
And then it was at night though. In the daytime it was like -1 Celsius, so it was not that bad for us.
Man.
In January, I hate January the most because that's when it gets really cold here.
Yeah.
Like it gets like -20 Celsius, like for weeks.
That's not funny.
And I just can't take that crap.
That's not funny at all.
No, I hate January the most for that. And we got about 3 inches of snow, so not for us, not too much.
Yeah, it got down to 0 C here last night, and we just freeze our asses off. As soon as the water freezes, we're done. We're out of here. Texas people we're immune to the hot. We don't care. It can get 35 C, and we're just like, the other day at the beach. But man, the cold just rips us apart. And Texans don't know how to dress for the cold. You see some really interesting stuff at Walmart. But anyway, it's hard to believe people leave the house that way. Sounds like you had a good time.
We did.
So it was just you and Pincala. So the kids were taken care of back at the ranch someplace by persons you knew, I hope.
Yes.
And they did okay. Well, so do you want to do news stories? Or do you want to hear my strange personal story first?
Let's hear your personal story first.
So I'm minding my own business Saturday and just kind of doing my usual Twitter thing, tweeting along. And all of a sudden, I get like 15 new followers. And I went, oh, how nice. 15 new followers. Lots of them appear to be from Saudi Arabia and Iraq and Turkey. And I'm like, that this happens to me. I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of followers that all of their stuff is in Arabic script. I have hundreds of them. If you need some background, I'll quickly go into that. A few months ago, a famous, at least in Turkey, Turkish author who has like 6 million followers, and he's a best-selling author. And he's a democratic liberal. He's a free speech guy, friend of Ayaan Hirsi Ali and all this stuff with an unpronounceable name. Decided he liked one of my tweets and retweeted it. And all of a sudden I got 200 free speech Turks following me. And I went, okay, welcome. They speak English also. And sometimes they tweet in English, sometimes in Turkish. And, everybody's welcome. I'm equal opportunity, guy all the way. And every time this guy likes one of my tweets, I get like 50 or 100 new followers. And some of them are in the United States, interestingly enough, and they follow this guy too. At any rate, so I had tweeted something out on Friday, I guess, to my friend Lauren Chen, Roaming Millennial, and she liked it and wrote me back and said something nice, and it was about her interview with Imam Tawhidi.
Oh, okay.
And he liked it and retweeted it to his zillion followers, his 500,000 followers. And that's what happened. All of a sudden, I had hundreds of people coming in. Anyway, making a long story short, and it is a long story. By last night, in the previous 24 hours, I had accumulated 600 new followers.
Good Lord.
That's just, that's even bigger than the time that the Turkish bestseller author liked one of my tweets and retweeted it. So
yeah, because I got back and I saw your tweet that said you broke 5,000, and I'm like, wow.
I had just been at 4,500 the day before. That was the weird thing about it. I always take a picture of each 100 tweets.
Yeah.
Of each 100 followers, I mean, that I get, and I take a little screenshot of it, and I keep it in a particular subdirectory. So I was looking at it, and I took like 5 different screenshots yesterday. I really did. This really happened. One of them, I think it was 4,800. I passed through so quickly, I didn't even get to take a screenshot of it. It happened so fast. I went from like 47 and change to 4,900.
Wow.
In 10 minutes, literally. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird to get popular. Plus, I have a policy that anybody who follows me, I will follow back. Now, I get criticized because people say, "Well, you're just getting follow back. You're not popular. You're just doing follow back." But I'm not. I'm really not. There's no agreement. There's nothing that passes between me and the other person. They don't know that I'm going to follow them back. They just follow me.
Yeah.
And then I follow them back. So take that, Magato. Anyway, oh, it's on now, bitch. Just kidding. So I think it was Magato that called me out for follow backs. And said I wasn't really very popular. I only had 27 followers or something. So, because that was my net, right? But I do try and follow back everybody who follows me.
I'm kind of the same way. There's no, nobody knows that I'm going to follow them.
Right, exactly.
And sometimes I won't follow people that follow me back because I'll go and look at their profile.
Well, yeah, if
see what they say, and I'm like, I don't agree with that at all. I'm not following you. I don't choose to share my timeline with what you have to say.
Exactly.
But thank you for the follow.
Well, it that's the thing is, like when Brian Krasenstein followed me, I knew that was not a friendly follow. Okay, that's a guy who is, he's got some staffer. And he says, "Watch this guy. If he strays off the dotted line, report him anyway. Just keep reporting him." So I did the soft block on him, block and unblock, and it was interesting. Within 3 days, he'd refollowed. So I may have to perma block. This is Brian Krasenstein, not his brother Ed. I called them out publicly because they're being paid for tweets, and one of them admitted it in a videotape, which kind of puts the lie to almost everything that comes out of their mouth. And
I had to soft block my own mother.
Did you really?
Yep.
No.
After that tweet where she was saying that she questioned every parenting decision she ever made ever because I said the left needs to calm the fuck down, or the pendulum's going to swing equally far right, and that's going to get Trump reelected. Yeah. Nowhere did I say that was a good thing.
Yeah.
I just said that's what would happen. And
that's not what she heard. That's
not what she heard. And I'm just like, I'm not arguing with you anymore, Mom. I'm gonna, because I wasn't following her.
Yeah.
She was following me.
That's the best thing to do. Just do a soft block, and then you don't appear in her timeline, and you won't get in front of her face.
I don't know what happened. Twitter does weird shit.
Also, if you can sneak on her computer, mute you when you're in as her. You know, if she leaves her computer unattended at home, walk over and mute yourself. That's unless you haunt the settings, it's pretty hard to find who you've muted. So,
like, I guarantee you, when it's time for our election, there's going to be some hot discussions because I guarantee you she's going to vote for Trudeau again.
That's crazy. Yeah. That really is crazy. Anyone who would vote for Trudeau, I think, is not looking at really very many of the relevant facts.
Speaking of Trudeau, did you see what he fucking did? That's why I titled the stream the way I did. Did you see what he did? What he tweeted at Trevor Noah?
No, I heard something about it, but I didn't actually see what it was. I was researching important stuff about dead kangaroos in Australia.
So what he did was, so Trevor Noah has this foundation for education for women and girls.
Yes.
And he was doing some sort of charity fundraiser thingy at Nelson Mandela's birthday celebration.
Okay.
And Trudeau tweets at Trevor Noah, "Hey, sorry I can't make it. Would love to be there with you. But how about Canada pledges $50 million to your charity?"
Wait, say that again?
I said, he tweeted to Trevor Noah, "Hey, sorry can't make it to your event. Would love to be there with you. It's a great charity or whatever, like some sort of ass kiss." Then he goes, "But how about Canada pledges $50 million to your charity?"
That's what I thought you said. 50 million loonies.
Yeah.
For real.
Yep.
Does he think he's a dictator?
I don't know.
What a virtue signaling drunk. Yeah, he is drunk with virtue signaling.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. $50 million. Like he has that much discretion. I'm sorry, dude. You're just the prime minister. You're just the first among the equals. That just, you know.
Hence the stream title, Canada Be Making It Rain.
Jeez. You know, and the sad thing is that the press, the lefty press, will give Trudeau a soft ride on this. They either won't cover it at all, or they'll say, we just love the good feelings, the good intentions, and if only it were possible to transfer the entire treasury of Canada to Trevor Noah's wonderful charity for education of women and children.
Or the other thing they may say is, in response to people criticizing him, "What, you don't care about women and girls in third world countries? You don't want them to be educated?"
Right. Strategic obfuscation. This is a well-known principle. You see this all the time, where somebody says, "Are you for law and order?" Well, yes, of course, I'm for law and order. Okay, so you're for the death penalty? No. Well, then you're against law and order. It's conflating one thing with another. But it's not the same. It's not even linked. It's not a direct linkage, and it's assuming or pretending that there's a direct linkage there. It's just wrong. People do care about that. The promise of $50 million of treasury money from Canada to this private charity is irresponsible. At best, it's irresponsible, and possibly it's criminal. I mean, it reflects such a depraved indifference for doing a good job,
Yeah.
that kind of dereliction of duty should be rewarded with being fired. I mean, you have to fire Trudeau as PM. If you don't, I hate to say it, but Canada is going to get what it deserves. You 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 uh, you get the leadership you vote for, and
Yeah.
if Trudeau is really the best person you can put up for prime minister, then my heart goes out to you, because that's a country that's in trouble. I mean, Theresa May is no prize, but compared to Trudeau, she's George Washington.
Mm-hmm. Blind
Pete's
Girl says
sake.
Trudeau's going to make us France, and you're not wrong if he's reelected.
It's happening. It's happening. I mean, you're not riding in the streets yet, and that's a very interesting situation that I think we ought to probably ease over to a little bit. But that whole business, make Canada part of the U.S. as a U.S. territory. Yeah, that'd be a very interesting thing. U.S. territories don't have a lot of autonomy, and I think Canada would not be very happy as a U.S. territory, because that is administered by the U.S. government. And what happens in territories is they basically turn into wild, wild west. There's very little law, because the only law that's there are federal marshals, and eventually they start, whether or not it's legal, they elect their own sheriffs. A lot of sheriffs were elected in Western territories in the United States. They weren't even legal. Places like West Texas and New Mexico, before they were states, had sheriffs when there was no provision to even elect a sheriff. There was, you couldn't even really incorporate a town in terms of the federal government recognizing it. So anyway, yeah. They would have to come in as a group of states, I think, if they were going to be part of the United States. It would probably be fairly painless, though, if they did that, because the Democrats would love it, because all of a sudden America would get a lot more liberal, and it would basically overwhelm the forces of red in America. We would basically turn into a giant welfare state. That's what bringing Canada into the United States would do, I think. Just to play the thought experiment out.
We've got a fair amount of people. I think you'd be surprised at how many people are bending more towards a conservative.
Having somebody like Trudeau will do that.
Yeah.
People will say, hey, maybe these conservatives have something going on.
Well, because the New Democrats have become socialists, and nobody in Canada wants to vote for that.
Yeah.
Because we appreciate the fact, we appreciate what we have. We appreciate the fact that going to the doctor is free if you've got a health card. You can go to the hospital for free. You can get anything that's not a cosmetic procedure is free.
Yep.
Let's see, there's gonna be waits. Even in the States, there's wait times.
Yeah.
Right. And
if you have enough money, there's no wait.
Yeah, if you have enough money, there's no wait. But if you're an average Joe, you're gonna wait.
Fair enough.
So I think but I think a lot of us Canadians also understand that we look at countries like Sweden and Norway and Denmark, and everything there is free, but look at their fucking tax rate.
It makes a difference.
It's huge.
It Makes a difference.
And people go, oh yeah, but then you don't have to worry about paying for university and or your health care, and then you won't go into debt. So it doesn't matter that your taxes are 70% because then you all you have to do is pay for your cost of living, and it's like, no.
Yeah. The problem with the government controlling most of your income, and when you have a marginal tax rate of 70%, that ends up happening to the people who have the largest discretionary income. So the government controls most of that, and the government is never as efficient at supplying your needs, okay, for money received as you are. You will always supply your needs more efficiently than government does. Always.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that decision making and money and capital should be allocated out to the individual, to as close to the individual as is possible. If you have to have something like, law and order, local law and order, have that at as local a level as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, control and maintenance of the roads should be as local as it can, beyond basic national arteries. I do believe in stuff like a national organization to, control and maintain an interstate system, because that's like a public utility.
Yeah.
That's like power system. That's there are a few things that you have to coordinate nationally and force everyone to, say, hey, this is a better way for living. It's so much better for everybody to do it this way that we're going to do it this way.
Yeah.
But unless it passes that test, and the problem is people don't apply that test anymore. Nowadays, it's just, you want something, pass a law. You want something, get money for it. And it doesn't matter whether or not it should be a function of government. And that's anyway, we go into that. I always kind of tend to go there and start to explain the libertarian philosophy. And we don't need that to be the subject of every single coffee stream. Let's face it. So let's talk about, are you ready for a little bit of news that'll irritate you about Israel and the Palestinians?
Always.
This just broke my heart. They have tape of this too. I saw the shooting. This guy drives by a bunch of people standing at a bus stop. One of them is a pregnant woman, and he shoots everybody there. He shot everybody there, including the pregnant woman, who is now fighting for her life. She was 30 weeks gone. They delivered the baby by C-section. The baby is okay, thank God. But the mother is fighting for her life. The husband was wounded. So he and his pregnant wife were just standing there waiting for a bus, and a Palestinian terrorist, and that's who it was, 2 Palestinian terrorists, drove by and shot them up and drove off into the night.
But the Palestinians they didn't do nothing, right?
Well, they said that this is a great thing. They said, we have the right to kill Jews. Killing Jews is an heroic act for the sake of Allah. This was the press release from Hamas, which is in control of the political party in control of Gaza right now, which is where these assholes were from. Yes, assholes. I said the A word. The Muslim leaders are cheering after Palestinians shoot 7 people, including a pregnant woman, in Israel. It just,
But these people are
just north of Jerusalem.
These people are nice, good, kind people, though, right? Like they're
right.
Just...
Who say stuff like, "We appreciate the blessed shooting that proves that the resistance is present, not terrorist resistance. This action also indicates the ability of the resistance to hurt the enemy," Hamas said in an official statement. Mainstream media is silent in order to avoid damaging Islam's image. The shots were fired toward the Israeli civilians who took part in a candlelighting ceremony in memory of a car accident victim at a bus station near the junction. Okay, I guess they weren't waiting for the bus. They were at some sort of ceremony of someone else who was hurt or killed there somehow. The security camera video shows the shooting. White car is seen slowing down near the bus stop, and you can see the bullets actually striking the crowd. It really is just, pray for those people. Fortunately, nobody else. There were a bunch of superficial wounds and not life-threatening wounds. The people who got hit, it was a miracle. The only one who really got seriously hit was the mother, and as I said, she's still fighting for her life, but she's still alive as of an hour ago. So, which is the last update that I have on it. At any rate,
30 weeks. Like, that baby is gonna be in an incubator for a bit.
Oh yeah, the baby's lungs are not fully developed, obviously, and there's just all kinds of problems. But fortunately, the Israelis, because they're brilliant and amazing, have some of the best medical care on earth, and that baby is getting as good a medical care as it can get anywhere on earth. Period. Dot. You can't get better in the U.S. and Singapore and Switzerland. No place can you get better medical care than Israel. So that's a good thing.
Apart from learning jiu-jitsu, I would love to learn Krav Maga.
Oh yeah. I've done some practice with Krav, and it teaches you what's important, as opposed to stylistic fighting. Because I've studied karate, also taekwondo, and in there you learn all these encounters, all these blocks and punches and stuff and kicks. With this, it's much more a get in there and hurt them. I mean, Krav is about blinding your opponent. Is about crushing their genitals, kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's a very effective way of fighting. I mean, if I ever get in a fight, if I'm ever in a street fight, it's not going to be a fair fight. It's not going to be Marcus of Queensbury, put up your dukes, pal. It's going to be rip your face off. Just so you know. I'm really jazzed up. I'm really pissed off about this shooting. Well, a pregnant woman, for God's sake.
And then they're like, yay, we shot people.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, blind girl. She says her daughter was born at 24 weeks. Jesus. That's like just viability. That's scary.
And you're starting to see the Islamization of places in Europe. And I remember when we lived over in Belgium during the 1960s, late 50s and 1960s. People used to call Lebanon the Paris of the Middle East. Today, Lebanon is more like Afghanistan. And kind of, unfortunately, it's very much like Paris. Lebanon was transformed from a Christian state into a terrorist state. And this is how multiculturalism fails you. Most people are unaware of the consequences of the illegal mass immigration into Europe that lead to, the way that Europe is changing. We look at Sweden and France, Belgium, Denmark, England, the Netherlands. And, Trump's travel ban got a lot of flack, but, having a ban on refugees from terror-laden countries is not exactly a bad idea.
No.
I mean, on just to go through the litany, on the 3rd of June in 2017 in London, 8 people were killed when 3 Muslim terrorists drove a van into a bunch of pedestrians on the London Bridge. London Bridge.
Yep.
In May of 2017 in Manchester, Salman Abedi detonated a bomb at Manchester Arena. Okay, killing himself and 22 others as people were leaving an Ariana Grande concert. In Stockholm, April 2017, Muslim terrorists drove a stolen truck, a truck of peace, into a crowd in the Swedish capital, killing 4 people and wounding 15 others. In 2016, Berlin, Muslim terrorists drove a truck of peace into a crowded Christmas market in central Berlin, killing 12 people. They always get like 10 to 20 people killed in these truck of peace incidents. It's a really good yield for them, you know. Rape, robbery, acid attacks, honor killings. That's what you buy when you Islamicize, when you bring in the migrants. And I hate to see Trudeau saying, "Hey, come on in. You know, migrants are welcome. We know you're just asking for asylum, escaping because of your deeply held political beliefs. Most of these guys are felons. For God's sake, they're coming in to rape, murder, and kill people." And even if most of them aren't, if 20% are bad apples, you're going to have a huge surge in crime. They really don't care. They have nothing to lose.
Oh, they're just downright. Like when I lived, when I used to live in an apartment building, we lived in this big high rise. Yeah. And most of the population of that apartment complex was Muslim. In fact, when we moved, instead of renting the unit to a new people coming into the complex, they gave it to a Muslim couple who wanted a different unit because they wanted one that faced west for prayer.
Oh, for God's sake!
So they
wanted it to face west or east.
Or I can't.
They wanted face east. It would face east towards.
They wanted it for some prayer reason. That's all I knew.
It would face east. That's what.
And so they got first dibs on the apartment when we moved out.
Really?
But I experienced a lot of passive mistreatment at the hands of those people.
Really?
Like at the hands of the Muslim tenants.
Yeah.
They would block my way. Like if I was walking outside around the complex and there happened to be some of them, like they would block my path. They would not only refuse to hold open the doors for me, but they would pull them shut as fast as they could behind them. They would yell to try and make me jump. Like they would try and scare me.
They're scared.
Yeah, they would. It was like they would always, when I would be waiting for the elevator with them, they would be speaking in a totally different tone of voice, and then I would come around the corner and they would just start whispering.
Yeah.
And I had one actually, when I tried to get on the elevator, I had one actually hit the close button. And I got closed in the elevator. I got in the elevator.
Mm.
But they don't like disabled people. They don't like blind people.
No, well, especially someone who is blind and is not a Muslim.
Yeah.
Because that's a person who's been cursed by God.
Yeah.
You know, they really are mired in the 7th century in a lot of ways. They might use a cell phone, but they believe in jinn.
Yeah.
The fire beings.
Yeah.
And all you can say is they're pathetic. They're sad. Just be glad you're not them. I'm sorry that happens to you. It happened to you. I pray it never happens again, but it's not the way to bat.
Well, I know a girl who went to the university here. She's blind. She has a guide dog.
Yeah. Muslims love.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
well, her orientation instructor is the same one I have. So they were learning the route to one of her new classes, and a Muslim exchange student stopped them in the hall and was yelling at this poor girl that she didn't belong there, her dog didn't belong there, her dog was filthy, she was filthy, she was against God, she was like all this crazy shit, and it's like, dude, you didn't have to come to school here. Fuck off.
Exactly. Deal with it. You know, that's the other thing is the Muslims who turn into snowflakes are even more obnoxious
Mm-hmm.
because then they get as sensitive as the Western snowflakes,
Yeah.
but they have more strange crap to be snowflakes about. I
And they have no filter.
They have no filter, none in incoming or outgoing, either one.
No.
Absolutely, you are absolutely right. God, that's a great point. Actually, expand on that.
They're like, they just do what they please. They
What's
don't.
what's an example of it you've seen?
So, when I'm on the bus here, because our region got when Trudeau welcomed in those 50,000 refugees all at once before Christmas of 2017.
Yeah, right.
Our region got about 15 to 20,000 of them.
Yep.
So we got almost half of the one influx of refugees. Now I've like this city's always had a good population of immigrants because we have two very well-renowned universities and a lot of people come from different countries to study here. But they usually go home in the summer. um, Now it's everywhere you go, like especially on buses, you deal with the immigrants who, first of all, don't know what an inside voice is. You'll you'll get a group of them on a bus, and they'll be speaking in Arabic, and I don't care what language you speak in. You know what I mean? It's your language. But could you not scream at each other?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We're all in an enclosed space. You don't need to be screaming at the top of your goddamn lungs.
Yep.
Or here's another thing I've noticed. They don't understand that the rest of us don't want to hear their phone conversation.
Yeah.
They're always on speakerphone. Always.
Yes. Exactly. It's like they think that's the greatest invention on
Yeah.
earth.
Everyone needs to hear what both people are saying, even though no one will understand them.
Right.
And again, I don't care that they're speaking in their own language.
Although their language is obnoxious to our ears because of all the what they call ululations.
Yeah.
I mean,
The glottal,
yeah, well,
very throaty.
yeah, very glottal, a lot of glottal stops, a lot of the la la la, a lot of L sounds that sound, that soft consonant over and over and over to, people who speak a language that was in part derived from German is just annoying. It feels like people are talking with a mouthful of mush. And you realize that here's another thing. Arabic is a much smaller language than English. It has fewer words. So a lot of it's sort of like speaking in Ebonics. A lot of what you say is evident only from your context. Okay, because yeah, in English there are a lot of ways to say everything. Okay, in Arabic there are not many ways. There are not many variances to cover a lot of situations. So a lot of situations you'll say the same thing, but you'll mean something different.
Yeah.
A lot of idioms, in other words. And the upshot of that is in Arabic, there's probably 70 or 80,000 commonly used words. How many do you think there are in English?
Hundreds of thousands, for sure.
Just about 500,000 commonly used words in U.S. and Western English, U.S. and Canadian English. There are about 500,000 words. It's actually about 465,000 words. That's what I think they counted.
Makes sense.
And we have a very expressive enormously precise language. Here's another thing that happens with Arabic, and this really pisses off the Arabs and pisses off the French too, because they do the same thing, is when they don't have a word for something, they use the English word.
Yes, they do.
And I remember when I was a kid, and this was in the 60s. This was not the 1860s. Don't everybody get smart. But no, this in the 1960s, I lived over in Belgium as a kid. And I remember the French government was up in arms. There was a big controversy. They have a committee that decides what constitutes French. So this committee was meeting to decide whether or not this new word was acceptable. The new word was autobus for the big buses, big municipal buses. It was autobus, and they decided that it was too Western. And they had some voiture de connaissance or something, some big honking ass.
Voiture de connaissance. Of course.
That took the place of it, some horror that they constructed from French to be in its place. And of course, the entire population of France disregarded that completely and used autobus. And they tried to enforce it in Le Soir, in the big news. That's the New York Times of France. It's called Le Soir, the evening. And comes out, it's published in Paris. And they tried to enforce that, and Le Soir just said, fuck off. We're going to print whatever we want to. And shut us down if you want. See how that goes for you. You got to realize this was when print media was king back in the 60s. So the French government backed off, and autobus was adopted into the language.
Well, if you actually listen in Quebecois French, they try and use more French now than France does.
I believe that they want to be different. They want to hate on America, Quebec.
Like,
well, they want to hate on everybody, they even hate themselves.
In France, you send le email. Okay? In Quebec, you send un courriel.
Really?
Yes. That's what an email is. It's a courriel.
A courriel. So a thing that runs is basically what that means.
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
A thing that runs. Kind of like paint.
I almost flipped my shit because my sister did French immersion. And but her teacher was from France.
So she learned actual French.
She was doing she was doing an assignment and it was, what are you going to do this weekend? And instead of what was it? Quel tu vas au fin du semaine, which is what
where are you going at the end of the week for the weekend?
It was le weekend.
Oh yes.
And I got so mad. I was like, it is not le weekend. You are not, because I was helping her with her homework. I'm like, you are not writing le weekend on your fucking paper. You are writing la fin du semaine, and I don't care what your teacher says.
Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. So the teacher was saying weekend?
Le weekend, yes.
That's not Parisian French, I promise you.
No, it's not.
That is not Parisian French at all, because they would say fin de semaine. They would. I mean, we would go into hundreds of different.
What are you gonna do? Faire du shopping?
My God, a monstrosity!
I was so mad.
Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? There was some. No, there wasn't any good news. Not really.
What did you think about what did you think about Kevin Hart stepping down from the Oscars that everyone is complaining is oh so white?
Long term, I think it's going to be a career great career move for him.
Oh,
he's going to look like a classy stud.
It'll be a good career move for him, but I think that he probably I think it was probably a good career move for him, like just for him.
Right.
I think it was probably it's a sign of the SJWs eating their own.
Well, it certainly is that. And now here's the thing. It would have been better if he had come out and said, the Oscars does not choose its winners honestly. It does not run its operation honestly. And the virtue signaling has gotten out of hand. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm not going to be a part of it. Fuck off. Yeah. Okay. If he had done that, that would have been great, but he didn't do that. He basically acted in a very selfish and, I think, small-minded manner.
Yeah.
And ran away from it. It'll end up making him look better than what he deserves to look like, but he'll still end up looking good. I mean, let's face it. What are the Oscars anyway? Who watches that stuff? You know, I realize that people say, well, you know, I want to see what the best movie was. Well, if you want to see what the best movie is, go read Rotten Tomatoes, because you're not going to find the best movies even represented half the time on the Oscars.
No, you're not.
And you're going to see these forgettable movies, you know, the Taste of Water or whatever the hell that thing was, you know.
Oh, The Shape of Water. Bullshit.
Really? Seriously? And the 4 people who saw that movie, you know, come on. It wasn't even popular enough to be considered, but it was just a chance to reward one of their favorite little poodles. It's like the Hollywood elite have little poodles that they want to dress up and give and put ribbons on. And so they get their little poodles, they put the ribbons on them. They all cluck, oh, look at the little poodle with the ribbon on it. And that's what the Oscars is. It's bullshit as far as I'm concerned. Anyone with a different kind of opinion is wrong.
I don't remember the last movie that I liked that won an Oscar.
The last movie that I liked that won an Oscar was, I think it was Forrest Gump.
Yeah. And even then I got mad at that movie.
Why were you mad at that?
I was like, fuck you, Jenny. I'm glad you die. You're a horrible person.
She was. She treated him like shit. And he was like, you know, Johnny, you know, he kept coming back for that, and you know, like typical men do, chasing women who treat them like garbage. Why do men chase women who treat them like garbage, and why do women like evil men? I just don't get it. You know,
I really don't know. And then why do the women and why do women, when they finally have a guy that, you know, he might do some stupid shit sometimes, but like he's in general a good dude.
Yeah.
And then they'll go and trash that relationship.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no answers. You know, I used to read the cartoon Archie, the Archie cartoon. Archie and Jughead, Veronica and Betty. Now, Veronica and Betty are drawn to be identical except in one regard. Betty has blonde hair. Veronica has black hair. Okay? They are identical in every other regard. They look like they look as though they're fraternal twins. So you sit there and you say, okay, Betty is all hot for Archie, is always hot for Archie. That's all she thinks about is, you know, currying favor with Archie. Archie is always hot for Veronica. I mean, this is the deep plot of the comic strip, right? That Archie is hot for Veronica because Veronica has somehow got some mysterious thing that Betty does not have. And as a guy, you're going, dude, are you crazy? There's a
Yeah.
woman who's crazy about you, and she's gorgeous. She's just as pretty as Veronica. Okay, stop this.
Yeah.
And Archie goes off like a dipshit and just shits on Betty routinely. Working out. Her. One of the subplots is what she will do to impress Archie, and how Archie just goes, it has her solidly in the friend zone.
Mm.
And then Veronica does the same thing to Archie that Archie does to Betty. And you just go, nice girls can be fun too.
Yeah.
Nice girls are worth marrying. Now, it took me 3 marriages to realize that. I finally married a nice one.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I did. Mrs. Talk is she's the bomb. She is. By the way, she's listening. Hi,
Hello.
She doesn't participate in chat. That's just not who she is. But she is listening, and I hope hitting the like button, please, hon, or the dislike, either. Anyway,
Jesse says, I was pissed they never gave Alan Rickman an Oscar for playing Snape. You know what?
Oh, it's so true.
Yeah.
So true. But by far the best acting performance in all of Harry Potter was Rickman as Snape. And he was consistently good from movie to movie.
Mm-hmm.
He just was that guy.
I think he was the only one whose character he actually portrayed his character's arc.
Yes.
Properly. If you read the books and then you watch the movie, Alan Rickman is the only one who even comes close to actually making you go, yeah, that's Snape.
Yep.
Except for the chick who played Professor Umbridge in a really good job of making you hate her.
Yes.
But no, Alan Rickman definitely should have had an Oscar for Snape.
Yeah, maybe 2. Yep, he was world class. He died, didn't he?
He did.
I think that's people die.
He did pass away, and I can't remember if it was suicide or if it was cancer. No, it was cancer, I believe.
I think it was natural causes. But I think, let's see if I check it.
It was last year, I believe, he passed.
And he
fairly recently.
He died in 2016, the 14th of January of 2016. He was 69 years old, which seems very young to this 66-year-old. Just saying. Death, if you're out there, come on.
Stomach cancer?
And he suffered a minor stroke in August 2015, which led to a diagnosis of pancreatic cancer.
Oh, pancreatic
the fact
cancer.
that he had terminal cancer only to his closest confidants. On 14th of January 2016, he died in London at 69. And his remains were cremated, and his ashes were given to his wife, Rima Horton. And,
what a phenomenal actor.
His final film was Alice Through the Looking Glass.
I forgot he was in that movie.
Yep, and there's a dedication actually at the beginning of it, I believe, or maybe it's at the end of Alice Through the Looking Glass. I can't remember. It's at the end. That's what it is. It's dedicated to Alan Rickman.
That's right. He and David Bowie died in the same week.
Oh yeah, man. I remember when Bowie died, and I made a comment on Monkey Stream. I said a part of me died when David Bowie died the other day, and Monkey replied to me in the stream, which is rare, and said, "Part of all of us, Skep." Yeah. That was the first time Monkey ever replied to me, was about Dave, but that was the first time he and I ever traded words back and forth, person to person.
I like Monkey.
I like Monkey too. He's one of my favorites. He's a good man. And he shares the same first name as me.
He's fun to stream with too.
Yes, he is. He is absolutely. Have you had him on this stream?
I've had him on twice, actually. I had him on just by himself, and then I had him and Irate Bear.
Oh my God.
That was a lot of fun.
That is the what a scream. We've got to do that. I've actually talked with a couple of people, a couple of names, who I don't want to say who they are until it becomes a thing.
Yeah.
But I think I'll be able to get both of these people, and it's going to revolutionize our lives. I think a little bit, and I think if I get them on, I think people like Monkey will also want to be on that same stream. So might be interesting. Anyway, I'm working on some interesting stuff. Talking with some of my friends now that I'm a player on Twitter with my 5,000 followers.
Yeah, Blind Girl. Everyone likes Bear. Bear is funny.
It's not like I rate Bear. He's just, he's a great guy, and he's a very sympathetic guy too.
He is.
He's got a good soul.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I really like about him is that he's just Jesse says Alan and David dying killed some of my childhood. All of us, Jesse, every one of us, all of us. So
just like it sucks, like that. Drunken Uncle needs more attention. Yes, Pink Hollow, you are absolutely correct.
Yep.
If Drunken Uncle didn't have a job, I would invite him on, but he's usually working when I'm streaming.
Yep.
But I would love to do a stream with Drunkle.
Yep. You know who would also be fun to have on here would be Sinatra.
Yeah, I actually got to speak with Sinatra briefly because I was on the Fright Power Hour.
Oh, really?
With the Ghastly.
With Ghastly.
And Sinatra's on there too. So I actually got to speak with Sinatra for about 10 minutes or so. And he's seen the video of me getting my eyes taken out.
Oh, has he really?
Yeah, he follows me on Twitter.
Excellent. Yeah. Good guy. He's a good guy. There are a number of good people, people worth talking about, and there are people who are not worth talking about.
But who seem to never go away.
Man, I'll tell you, and one of those, and I will not say his name here, but he's just knocking my door down, trying to get attention in any way he can.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just wanted to stop and tell you offline. It's just some people, they can't help but do the wrong thing, no matter what they do. And they're the ones who they need to just sit down and take stock for a minute and decide to be a little bit different, decide to do things differently, approach things differently.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you, I do not react well to being bullied.
No.
You bully me, you're not going to like what happens. And it's not that I hit back. It's just that I will not give you satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
You will not have a satisfactory episode with me. You'll either get tired or bored or angry or frustrated or something, but it won't be good. So anyway, hoping that resolves. I'm hoping that, at some point this person is going to revisit who they are and what they are and what's going on in their lives and find a way to reach out and, get along peacefully. And then this person and I can be friends again. And
that would be nice.
I hope that happens. So anyway, that's about.
Alan Smith says he was recommended to by Golf City. To us.
Really? Very cool.
Yes.
Thank you, Golf City. Golf City's got some nice people, and
they really do.
Like those folks, and they're funny as hell. For one thing, Johnny Hellcat.
Yep.
He's fun. He's a good guy. Kind of associate him with that mob. I don't know that he's in the Gulf City thing, as far as you can be, but he's very funny. Anyway, So have you been following all this stuff with Sargon and Patreon? That was the story that I really wanted to get to, was Sargon and Patreon, and what the unpersoning and the deplatforming means, and what you think about it.
I may not agree with how Sargon has started acting lately. Because I used to watch Sargon.
Yeah.
But I just don't enjoy his content anymore.
Yeah.
But
why would you say you don't enjoy it anymore?
It's not his. Like, I started watching him for his video content and his ability to laugh at stuff that, like, laughs at stuff and question.
Yeah. Of course, and also he's an authority on games. He's authoritative on games, but he doesn't talk about that stuff much.
Or history.
And history, yeah.
Like those videos, the videos he did about the different emperors and stuff. The one of Sargon of Akkad.
Right, exactly.
That was really interesting, and that's why I started following him.
Right.
And then over the last few months, he's just gotten so, like, when it started with the liberalism movement.
The liberalist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think that was only the start of, I think that was the symptom of something worse, though.
Yeah, I do. And now he's taking himself way too seriously. He's like, I'm going to be a politician and a YouTuber. Yeah. And it's like, I don't think you can do that. Like, there's no law that says you can't, but I just don't.
It's hard to do both well.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think. I have, that's not too far away from my take on it. It's a slightly different flavor of take, as opposed to taking himself too seriously. I think he's taking events too seriously. I think he's a little bit overwhelmed. I got to meet him and talk to him at MythCon.
Yeah.
I mean, he and I really, he had a little bit of a heart to heart. I mean, how much can you do in, 10, 15 minutes? But, we sat there and talked with each other. He had his arm around me the whole time. He wasn't drunk or anything. He was sober as a judge. And he's very personable. He's really the nicest guy you would ever want to meet, just easygoing and nice. And I think what has happened is he just feels a bit overwhelmed by what his life has become. And I think he's a little bit frustrated that he can't address things in the way that he would like to address them and make things come out the way that he would like to come out. He's very frustrated with the stuff pertaining to UKIP and Brexit and, what's happening in his country. And that just wears at you. It just irritates you over and over and over. And pretty soon you become reactive. And I think that has changed his personality a little bit. And he doesn't focus on the stuff that made him fun. Mm-hmm. Like what you're talking about, the historical stuff, the games, the political content that, he could do a send up on somebody and just make you laugh out loud. Mm-hmm. With his characteristic British understatement. And I think he'll have a pivot moment where he resets and goes back to that. I really, truly do. I think it's building up, and he's going to have a time when he just sits down and says, okay. Because he that's who he is. He's introspective and smart that way. And he'll realize that, I don't like what's going on. What do I need to do to change it? And he'll make some adjustments. I think you'll see that and you'll be satisfied. You'll be happy with it.
What I'm sick of is, no matter how smug he's gotten, or, if he's let his ego get a little bit away from him, if I see one more dead baby joke.
I know. I hear you. It's not pretty right now.
It's no, like, I don't care. Say, like,
there's stuff that's unforgivable.
leave it alone, dude. Like, just leave it alone. Like, it wasn't funny when it first happened,
I was going to say, when was that funny?
but now, like, I saw somebody say, "Oh, he was aborted off Patreon," and it's like, really, just fucking stop. Like,
Yeah. When
and
was that?
at this point, you're not just attacking Sargon.
Right.
Like, his wife was the one who had the stillborn.
Right.
Like, she didn't ask to be involved in Sargon's online drama.
Yeah.
Like, leave the poor woman alone.
Oh, yeah.
Let them grieve. Like, I don't care what Sargon said to start the dead baby jokes. You don't, that's not where you go.
I'll,
And I'm
I'll,
sick of hearing, oh, it's just bants. No, fuck, no, that's not banter.
that's evil.
Yeah.
You can't, it's hard to convey what that feels like. My wife had a pregnancy that lasted about 3.5 months, almost 4 months, and the baby died. And there's some procedures they have to do to take care of the mother, and it's not a baby anymore; it's a corpse, and it will, it can kill a woman to keep that corpse in there.
Mm-hmm.
It is more than just a disappointment. It's a feeling of getting kicked in the face.
Yeah.
And you don't get over it for years. And still to this day,
Yeah.
I wonder what the little girl would have been like. I
Well,
think
and
of the little girl we did have, the one who survived.
think about, they have a 6-year-old that, first of all, they had to explain that he was going to have a baby sibling,
Yeah,
and now they have to explain to him that his baby sibling isn't coming home.
that's it. Exactly right.
It's like, how do you explain that to your child?
That's right. Yep.
Oh, Churchy, I don't like right now. I think Sargon is being hypocritical. I think he shouldn't have been so cheerful about Ralph getting kicked off YouTube. Like, he's definitely done some wrong here. But as Gunfox says, go after the man, leave his family out of it.
Exactly. Precisely.
Go after what he's done. Leave his wife and his dead child out of it.
Yep. Jessie brings up a great point. She says there are artists, writers, and actors, other artists, others that are jerks, assholes, and they create good stuff. They do good work and things like that. I think we have to separate the artist from the work. And I think that's a fair thing. I mean,
Chadwick, you didn't know Ralph is off YouTube? Wow, you have been offline for a month. Holy shit.
I want to go to your South Sea Island. Yeah. It's good. It's good to get away. But yeah, Ralph's gone.
He's on Stream Me now.
Is that where he is? I haven't followed up to go see what he's doing over there.
Yeah, he's over at Stream Me.
I figured he'd be at Mines or something like that. So
no, not many people are on Mines anymore. Like, it kind of.
It's not a terrific video platform. It's not wonderful for that.
No. And I'm sticking with YouTube because it's accessible for me.
Well, sure. Right now, that's the best choice for you. The thing is that there are answers for alternatives to YouTube. They're just waiting for money.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for money and demand. And as soon as the demand is there, let me tell you, the money comes running. You know, it's like the saying from was Silence of the Lambs, where Hannibal Lecter says, when the rabbit screams, the fox comes running, but not to help.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the the money will come running as soon as YouTube screams, but it won't be to help. It will be to put up competitors. It'd be interesting to see what comes up. I look for somebody to be head and shoulders better at serving video than YouTube, okay, and better at keeping their hands off the clientele. That's the platform that will succeed.
Yes.
I think if they fulfill those two things, that's going to be at least an initial key to success. Just one man's opinion, but Blind Girl says freedom of speech and expression is being taken away at crazy rates. I agree, and it's done by the right and the left. Unfortunately, anybody who wants to control your speech, anybody who terms something to be hate speech, does that just make you crazy, Blind?
Hate speech.
Yeah.
The thing hate speech.
Yeah. Hate speech. One person's hate speech is another man's gospel, you idiots. You know, these guys, well, we don't want to ban all speech. We just want to ban hate speech. Well, who's going to determine that? I had a back and forth with a major columnist in Great Britain. He's the guy, Mike, what's his name, who was always oppressing Count Dankula.
Cernovich.
Not Cernovich. This is
not Mike Cernovich.
No, this guy writes a column, I think, for the Guardian. And I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, I forgot to mute my phone.
It's all good. That happens to me all the time.
I forgot to mute my phone. There, it is muted now. It may make buzzing noises, but it will do that. And that number, I recognize it. It's somebody calling me with information about my car warranty. You know, your warranty's expired. I know. I don't buy them.
Stutchberry. Michael Stutchberry?
Yeah, that's it. Stuckberry. That's exactly who it is.
Thank you, Scotsman.
Thank you, bud. Exactly. Yes. And yeah, Scott would know it. So he and I have this kind of adversarial relationship. We've had 3 or 4 conversations back and forth. Initially about Dankula, and then a long back and forth about free speech. And you know, he came back, and weren't terribly adversarial. I mean, he's actually has come to show at least kind of a grudging respect for me, but he's not backing off his point. And I said, Mike, who makes the decision about what constitutes hate speech? And he said, why don't you try trusting me?
Yeah.
Just let that lie there for a minute. How does that feel? Why don't I try trusting him with my speech? Really?
No.
Love you, Mike, but no. Negative. You know, it's not why I put on the uniform for 5 years, asshole. Sorry. I did what I did because, you know, I felt like I had a duty to go out and, you know, do my bit. You know, I had the capability of doing, had the mental, intellectual, and athletic capability to go out and serve my country. And I felt an obligation to do that. And one of the things that I felt like I was always protecting was my right to say whatever I wanted to say. I take it deeply personally when these guys who have never done a goddamn thing in their life for anybody but themselves, and they want to curtail my speech. Fuck right off.
Yeah. I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah. Jesse says, Blind Press and Skep Talk, I loathe those who are advocates for the disabled. I loathe that they assume we hate terms of disabled, handicaps, retard, for those with downs and cripples. Okay, so
yeah, no, the advocates for the disabled who aren't disabled, but they get offended for us or on behalf of us.
well, Jesse's basically a crazy cripple. I mean, you realize that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's just a nutbag, and I'm teasing that because I actually love this young lady. She's uh, very intelligent, empathetic, and loads of fun. Has a big imagination and a lot of interesting ideas. Love it when she posts on Twitter. And I enjoy seeing her in chat. She says some hilarious things on Monkey Chat. Sometimes
She really does.
She's one of the ones I watch, that I especially watch. That's a thing that if I were working at Twitter, this is just an aside, an improvement I would make to their chat function is that I would have it so that I could mark special people and have them come up highlighted in my chat, because sometimes it's happening too fast for you to read everything that's going along, and you really only want to pay attention to, there's probably only 7 or 8 people in Monkey's chat who, I routinely want to read, virtually every single thing they say. Jesse's one of them. And so I'd like the ability to highlight that and have that come up. For you, the equivalent would be that you would have a filter basically that would or some kind of alert system saying, hey, here's one of the people that you put on your watch list, something like that, and a convenient way to quickly read that. So that's all doable. That's easy stuff. I'm surprised. Thank you, Kara. Kara Zering's one of my, you've been on my show.
Yep.
About as many times as Kara as a matter of fact. I met you both at about the same time.
Yeah.
And you two and Prospero and Jacob are, and now Terry are my, that's my core. Those are the people who I know I'm going to have on my show, effectively every single Wednesday. Or at least I'm going to ask them to be on Kefke when she can make it.
Yeah.
And because it's just an interesting bunch to bounce ideas around. Enough, variety. It's a little bit of a lace party, but it's only, it's me and Jacob hold up the sausage end pretty well. We do our best anyway.
It used to just be Skep's harem.
It used to be my harem, exactly. And that was there's a lot of it was a good thing. It wasn't really an estrogen stream at all.
Not really.
Quite the contrary. I think it stayed very much on the intellectual side, and think it does that now. But I love the variety of viewpoints that is in that. And I like mixing it up, having people like Adam and Hammer and, some of the other folks that who I can occasionally talk into coming on with me. A lot of people don't want to stream with me. And I know why. But I talk too much. I bore them. I have Delahazed. He's a brilliant addition to the Minions. Donkey's always funny.
I love how Della always says a boot on purpose.
A boot, yeah. And even writes it ABOOT.
Yeah. He does it he totally does it on purpose. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. So yeah, he's funny, and Valrosk is funny. Donkey, and Sanguine is this amazing mind. He's fun to have on.
Yeah,
he can't make it a lot of nights. For some reason, he seems to work a lot. Quiz is amazing. Quiz is amazingly interesting and talented guy.
Yeah.
There's so much Magato and
There's a lot of talent in the Minions.
Mustafa. There is Far, and her drawing and stuff, and Platty's a web developer, and she's awesome. Peter, Reject, Hammer. I'm absolutely dazzled by the cool people who are in there. Poppy is a one of a kind personality. She's an American original. She really, truly is. And I love that she includes her family when she hosts. That's big fun. So
Willow's always funny to listen to.
For those of you who are not familiar with the Minions, to show the stream a little bit here, it's on 10:30, 7 nights a week, and Friday night is game night, and that's worth showing up for. I can't play games, so I'm not usually there, but I host on Wednesday night, and it's at 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern Time, and what's that? 9:30 Mountain Time, and 8:30 Pacific Time. In Hawaii, it's much earlier. So,
how many time zones does the States have?
Lots.
We've got
I think
6.
The one with the most time zones is Alaska. How many time zones are in Alaska? How many time zones are there in Alaska? There are 4 time zones, and they have just converted them to 2. So Alaska's 4 time zones have now become 2. More than 98% of the state's population is in one of these zones, now called Yukon time, which is 1 hour earlier than Pacific Standard Time and 4 hours earlier than Eastern Time. Okay, so that's the way they do that. But Alaska used to have 4 time zones in it. That's a lot for a state.
I know Canada itself as a whole has 6 time zones.
Oh, yeah, because it's got Atlantic Standard for the Newfies. And does it have one of the Pacific time zones?
Yeah, we've got Pacific for BC.
But I mean, there's a Pacific, there's a like Western Pacific. There's no part of Canada in the next time zone over from Pacific.
Yeah, there is. We've got Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern.
Yeah, but Pacific is the farthest west.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're going to call BC, it's always 3 hours behind you.
Right. That I understand. How many time zones are there in Canada? Have they changed it to Canada, Stan? They have. They did, right?
No. It's still Canada.
Okay, it's still Canada. There are six time zones in Canada. There are the Pacific time zone, Mountain time zone, Central time zone, and then Central. There are actually 2 Central time zones. Why? And then an Eastern time zone and an Atlantic time zone. Oh, and the Newfoundland time zone.
Yes, they're an hour and a half ahead of us Easterners.
Okay. And Saskatchewan is a peculiar one because it should be in the Mountain time zone, but it's not. It stays in the Central time zone.
Yes.
Even though its longitude would say, no, it belongs in Mountain time zone.
Yeah, Alberta is the only one that we have in Mountain.
No, the Northwest Territories.
Oh, right.
Northwest Territories. Yep.
But yeah, the Northwest Territories and Alberta are in Mountain. Manitoba and Saskatchewan are in Central. Yeah. Ontario and Quebec are Eastern. The Maritime provinces are the Atlantic time zone, and Newfoundland gets its own special half an hour ahead time zone.
Yes, that's interesting that it's 0.5. Really? Seriously? You guys gonna do that to yourselves? Okay. All right. Enjoy your clocks.
Oh, cool! Pincolo just saw a fully grown Irish wolfhound. I wonder
where did he see it?
I wonder if it was at one of his drop-offs. Sometimes, especially out in the country, if he's dropping off to the Mennonites,
Yeah.
They'll have big guard dogs.
Well, sure.
So he probably was dropping off something, and they had a nice big dog. I
Duck
like
Duck
big
says that the
dogs.
official name for Canada is Kanakistan.
Kanakistan, yes.
Kanakistan. Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah. Pink. I just saw a full-grown Irish wolfhound. Man, that is actually pretty cool. Um, there are. It's just a beautiful dog. Just a beautiful dog.
I like hounds.
You like hounds?
Hounds are awesome.
Well, as the owner of 2 dachshunds, I like hounds too. Obviously, uh, you know, people misunderstand dachshunds.
Mm-hmm.
They are hounds. They're sight hounds.
Yeah.
People think, well, they must be, scent hounds because of their big nose. Let me tell you something. Dachshunds' noses are no bigger than a regular dog.
Mm-hmm.
A dachshund is a regular dog with short legs.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that's the only thing that's different about a dachshund. They don't have longer bodies. They have normal bodies. They don't have longer tails. They have normal tails. They don't have longer noses. They have normal noses. Okay. They have short legs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what plays with people's perception of them. That's why they get called wiener dogs, because of their apparent long shape. They're actually no longer than any other hound. They're just another hound, basically, with short legs. They're bred for short legs. They have naturally powerful short legs, good for digging, good for digging out burrowing animals. They used them in Germany to hunt badgers. Dachshunds are fierce.
Yeah.
Dachshunds are what are called cat killers. They will kill your cat. They will take your cat out.
Well, they're wiry.
People think, well, no dachshund's going to take my cat. My cat's big. Let me tell you something. They will dismember that cat down to the floor in nothing flat. If you get the dachshund with the right personality,
Yeah.
They are built for that. It's instinctive. They think that thing is a badger, and they're there to kill it. Yep.
Pincalo
Yeah,
says.
they're
Pincalo says, nope, just downtown. Some guy walking his full-bred Irish wolfhound looks about 10 feet tall.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, those are big dogs. So, do you like big dogs?
I do.
I was raised with big dogs, big
Yeah.
Labrador retrievers and golden retrievers, that sort of thing.
My uncle had a Malamute.
Oh, that's a jolly dog.
And his name was Tanaev.
Oh,
And
was he?
so
did he have that happy Malamute personality?
He did. For those who don't speak French, that's thunder.
Yep.
So Tanaev, I used to ride like a horse. Because I was 2 or 3 at the time. He died when I was 4.
So would he actually get up and let you stay on his back?
Oh yeah.
Oh, how
he
fun.
loved me. Like he would when my mom and my uncle were out taking him for a walk, and she would have me in the stroller. People would be like, "Oh, can I see the baby?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, sure." And one of them went to reach over the dog.
Not good.
To look at me, and he growled.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And they're like, they freaked out, and my uncle was like, "No, like, he's not going to hurt you. Just go the other side of the stroller."
Yep. Yeah,
and he was fine. He was fine after that. It was just like, don't reach over. That's my baby. Don't reach over me. He was very protective of me. He was a big sucky dog.
Yeah, that's wonderful though. I love that protective thing. Jessie's saying that her dachshunds and her cats are like siblings. They would fight, but they would protect each other. And yeah. I've actually had that with dachshunds. I've had dachshunds and a cat, and the cat basically thought it was a dachshund, and the dachshund thought, "Man, it's the ugliest dachshund I've ever seen, but you're my bud." So, and they hung together, they ate together, played together, would sleep lying on each other. It's pretty hilarious.
Aww.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. Dachshunds are great. They're dog pilers. They will sleep if you have 4 dachshunds, they will sleep on top of one another. That's it. They just instinctively get together for heat.
Well, they're
And
short haired, right?
yes, they're very short. Well, mine are. I will not have a long haired dachshund. It just they're like the brooms of life. Just sweep up everything, and you just unless you just like to groom a dog, and I don't. I used to show dachshunds, but
Mhm.
I didn't, and I had a long haired dachshund who was a champion actually, and I hated grooming this dog because it just took forever to groom the dog,
Yeah.
and it was a pain in the ass. And I loved my short hair. I had 2 champion short haired dachshunds, but I actually quit showing for the reason that they wanted the nails clipped for conformance.
Hmm.
Conformance being the part of the show where they say the dachshund's supposed to be this long, and the ratio of the width of the hips to the length of from the crown of the head to the tail is supposed to be this, that. To get them in conformance, you had to cut the toenails so short it hurt the dog.
Oh.
And I was at a show. I was at one show. This happened one time, and then I quit the business. I walked away from it. Walked away from the Fort Worth Dachshund Club. And I heard a dog getting its nails cut, and it was yipping and crying and just begging to be not have this done. And I just said, nope, 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 nope. And we marched in the Parade of Champions. That's the only thing I entered my dogs in because I wouldn't clip their toenails. I marched in the Parade of Champions, and that was the last time I showed a dog many years ago.
Yeah, I don't agree with hurting an animal for cosmetic.
No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. And so there you go. But let's see. Alan Smith says when he was young, his family had a golden retriever and later a German Shepherd, both big, gentle dogs. Yeah, you can find them. I think Goldens generally tend to be big, gentle dogs. Have you had any experience with retrievers?
A little bit of experience. I may get a retriever. I don't know if I'll get a retriever as a guide dog, but that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Are they Labradors or are they a different breed? I always get confused about retrievers.
Oh, well, okay. The retrievers are a class of dogs, and there are various retrievers. There's golden retrievers, there's Labradors, there's Chesapeake Bay retrievers, and those are probably the 3 most popular of the retrievers. There are other retrievers, but the Goldens are big, gentle giants.
Yeah.
They're just big and wonderful and happy. And they shed so much you can knit sweaters from their hair. So there's that. And then you have Labradors, which are short coat. And it's a short coat that's just completely impervious to water. They are swimmers.
Yeah.
Labradors are the most fun because they're interesting, smart, and loving. They're as loving as a golden retriever, and they're smart like the way that like Australian Shepherds are smart. They're really an intelligent dog. So
Labs are great.
And you can't go wrong with those. I like German Shepherds. Some of them can be aggressive. It just depends on the dog, how it was raised, I think, as much as anything, and a little bit of the dog's personality. They can be biters, but they are loyal. And when you get one that's a big old sweetie, they're wonderful. That can be wonderful. They tend to be very, very intelligent.
Yeah.
So you're not going to go wrong with your guard dog. They're going to have good ones. Lauren Chen, Roman Millennial, tweeted out a picture of her lying on her bed with her. I guess it's a Portuguese water dog, is what it looks like.
Those are so cool.
Kind of amazing looking dogs, and I don't know that much about their personality. Do you know much about them?
I know that they were specifically bred. Um, I know that they are incredibly loyal dogs.
Yeah.
But they were specifically bred for, I think, duck hunting?
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to be able to go and swim out
Oh, you know what?
and catch the bird that you've shot
Yes, yes.
and
I
bring it
remember which
back.
one is the Portuguese water dog. I actually characterized that wrong. That's not what she has. That's not what Jelly Bean is. Jelly Bean is another kind of dog. It's another big dog. Portuguese water dogs, though, are cool dogs. They're amazing. They're smart and active, and they're just sort of brilliant, as from what I've heard. They can be. They're obedient and intelligent, very brave dogs.
And their coats are stupid thick.
Yes, and completely water repellent, utterly water repellent, like float water repellent.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're like little boats.
They really are.
And yeah, they're pretty cool.
There's an episode, I don't know if you've ever seen any of the show Criminal Minds.
I have not, so
Okay.
gonna have to explain it.
Criminal Minds is a show about it's a fictional show, but it's about the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit.
I've heard about this show. I've had several people recommend it to me.
It is a great show until you get to about season 8 or 9.
9 seasons, wow.
It's at 14 seasons now, but I refuse to watch. They a lot of the main cast that I.
What did they do? What did they do?
So the show is about basically the show is about the team at the behavioral analysis unit and how they go around and how police solve serial murder, like most specifically very, very atypical serial murder. And it's basically they do some episodes where they do flashbacks about starting up the behavioral analysis unit. They still run into certain police detectives who call profiling pseudoscience. So it's basically a show about learning, like watching them profile different kinds of killers, different kinds of unknown subjects. And there's in the third season the introduction of Joe Mantegna's character, because Joe Mantegna stars in this show.
Okay.
But the start of the episode where his character comes in, he's duck hunting, and he shoots the duck, and then he turns to his dog and he goes, "Go get it!" And the duck was shot and landed in the water.
Okay.
So this dog just goes running out to the water and swims in, and he brings back this duck. Just pulls his duck, brings the dead duck back from the water. And I think that's a Portuguese water dog that he's got.
Ah, very good. Okay. Very good.
But Criminal Minds has gotten shit.
Why?
Well, most of the original cast has left.
Okay, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
And they actually fired the guy that was playing the head of the behavioral analysis unit. Or I'm sorry, not the head, the special agent in charge, the team lead. Because he got into an argument with somebody on set and punched them.
Ow.
So they fired him for punching the person. And I basically refused.
Needed punching?
I probably. I think it was something to do with the writing in the direction of his character.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "No, I don't like that direction." And yeah.
You just had enough.
Just had enough. But I can't watch Criminal Minds without half of the cast. It's like the only three people that are still there are Joe Mantegna's character, the tech girl, because they were the ones who, you know how, I don't know if you've ever seen NCIS, the Naval Criminal Investigative Service show.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. The tech chick that they have in that show.
Yep.
That gimmick was stolen from Criminal Minds.
Ah.
The goth chick who's like.
Yes, with the neck tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I liked her character in NCIS at first. And then when she kind of got too full of herself publicly, I just kind of, ugh.
Yeah, Jean-Pierre, Joe Mantegna is still there, but Rossi's character, I like Rossi's character, but not enough to watch Criminal Minds anymore. They fucking took all my... Paget Brewster left. Thomas Gibson was fired. Shamor Moore left. All the good people left.
Mm.
So it's not worth it anymore. And then they started trying to replace... When Paget Brewster left, they kept trying to bring in new agents, and they just never kept working out. And it was just... They should have ended the show when she left.
Yeah.
Holy crap, it's 11:45.
I know. I was just going to say, how long did you want to take it today? You and I have such a good time just sitting around chewing the fat. We kind of have these kind of natural, organic conversations, and that's what the stream is. We still got a few people watching.
We do. We've got 21 people watching.
I'm pretty impressed. So you must be doing something right, hon.
Well, I need to... Reed is still awesome, though, says Blind Girl. Yeah, Spencer Reed was good.
See, Jesse says, I missed the 4 doxies. Midnight, my girl, Dragon, the badass, Chimera, the brat, and Cece, the cuddle monster.
Aww.
I know exactly what you mean.
They're all different personalities.
They are. They're like your kids after a while. But anyway.
Well, guys, I need to go eat something.
Yes. I've got to run because I've got to... I told SDA that I would get chapter 16 of her next book done.
Ooh.
And back to her today because she wants to send me the next chapter because it's going to be ambitious. Mm-hmm. So I need to get going and do some of that work.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a pleasure. You know, I love doing it, and I love getting the chance to do that. It's going to be a great book. I'll shield that in advance. Also, for those of you who are interested, if you like that kind of sword and sorcery or urban fantasy type stuff, SDA and Abby McMillan have written a book together called Blackwoods that just came out. And of course, SDA has the Rosalie Watson series going. The first book has long been in print, and just head for SDA's channel. You can find out all about books you can read by SDA, and they are interesting and loads of fun. Not Hemingway, but is. But it's great fun. Seriously, it's great fun to read, and it's just interesting, modern, young adult kind of urban fiction. When I say young adult, I don't mean like 13 or 14. I mean like 20s and 30s. It's going to interest you. There's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So enjoy some of SDA's writing there. You have some stuff to shill. Also, you're like the stream lady. You're like Captain Stream.
I am.
The extreme streamer is streaming. What do you got? What else you got going?
So on top of these things that I do every day, and the Star Trek stream that we do on Saturday nights,
indeed, which is coming back.
Which is coming back this Saturday, and
it's going to feature
Future's End.
Future's End.
which is the two-parter that's in season 3.
Yep.
Season 3, episodes 8 and 9.
Okay.
But I also have a secondary channel, because I was doing gaming streams on this channel every Sunday called The Blind and the Special. But I have moved everything over to the actual Blind and Special YouTube channel, where I still do the game stream every Sunday with Pincalo, but I also do more streams on the PlayStation now that I have one. Basically, whenever the fancy strikes me. But I just do everything. I do all the gaming over there to keep everything more organized now.
So please help us out, guys. Like and subscribe to Blind Press's, all her many channels in the burgeoning Blind Press media empire.
Yes, we just hit 30 subs on the Blind and the Special channel. So, and guys, we're 13 subs away from 300 over here.
That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. I'll set up some sock accounts and subscribe it. Just kidding. Just kidding, Susan. Keep your pants on.
But thank you so much, guys, for coming out and listening to us. We always appreciate all of the news that is sent our way.
Blind Press Reads.
Yep, Blind Press Reads. Or if you are in my Discord, there is a channel called News for the Coffee Stream. You can post anything that you find interesting in there as well.
Send it to Skeptalk.
Or just send it to Skeptalk, yeah.
At Skeptic Alpha, ALFA, as Skeptic, and the word Skeptic in ALFA. I use that because Random Cam was taken. And on Twitter. So, but send us, anything, pointers to anything. We're interested all the time. We don't take you guys for granted. We thank you guys for coming out and watching us.
Absolutely. Hope everyone has a great day. Stay safe out there, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Be careful out there.